Japan is a place that is known for its futurism, but even as a forward-thinking country, it is still playing catch-up in how it handles diversity, especially amongst women of color.
My name is Jane. I'm from Tokyo. I'm a photographer, a filmmaker, and a writer. I was born here and I lived here for the first 8 years of my life, so I spent a significant amount of my childhood in Japan.
My name is Azachi Okoronkwo. I'm from Elkridge, Maryland. I started out in Nagoya, Japan, actually, teaching English. I wasn't really happy with my experience there, and I knew my heart was in Tokyo, so I decided to move for the purpose of working and just doing fashion and meeting new people.
I'm Tiffany Cadillac. I'm a DJ selector. I'm a musician. I was born here in Tokyo. My family moved to Jamaica when I was about 2 years old. After I moved back, I felt like I wasn't able to show much of my Jamaican side, I guess, because I had to adapt. I had to learn Japanese from my ABCs.
I think in Japan, it's not so much that I feel disconnected to my race, it's more that I just feel other. Like I just feel that I'm foreign. I don't feel like being Indian or like any of those other things. I feel like I'm just treated as something that's just not Japanese. But I feel like in America, I definitely feel more Indian because there's more Indian people there and there's more people of different races. So I think who you are racially matters more in America than it might in Japan.
When I moved to Tokyo, I realized like I had to think about like what I actually wanted and not what my parents expected me to do to make them happy. One day I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna do what makes me happy. I wanna keep doing fashion and eventually get a job in America doing fashion, and that's what I'm gonna do. And you know, eventually they're like, okay, you can do that and we support you.
I think as a kid, I was rejected a lot by Japanese society, so it was hard for me to connect to Japanese people. I think because a lot of people were just like not aware of the fact that there are other races. But I think as a kid, like I never thought it was racism. I just thought I was like a loser, so I was like, okay, whatever. But then as I like became an adult, like I saw the same racism, except it was really passive aggressive. So it was like a huge like learning process for me in terms of like what the world really is like and how there are so many people that like just are unaware of like other cultures and of other races. I had to be very patient with other people and not blame their ignorance on them necessarily.
Now in Japan, I'm like the half like mixed child. It was kind of weird because everybody was pretty much mixed with European or somebody who is just not African descent, and I don't really see that much representation. I can't deny that I've been pushed out of some situations, but I feel like in Japan, people are more like curious than racist or, you know, prejudiced.
I definitely think being a black woman in Japan is like being like a unicorn almost. Like there's not many of us, and I don't have a lot of people in this country to talk about being a black woman. You know, if I try to talk to a Japanese person about, you know, this happened to me, or like you know, someone in the store ignored me when I was trying to ask a question, they won't understand what I'm saying because it's never happened to them. So it's hard to, you know, actually express those feelings. I mean, I have my sister at home who I talk to about those type of things, but it's like not having someone here to do that with sometimes is draining.
When they first meet me, they might not want to like talk to me, or they might feel like I'm foreign to them. But after like they get to know me better, they like accept me more as one of them. So I feel like that's something that's been really rewarding in my adulthood.
In Tokyo, there's opportunities to work with photographers, models, people who really love fashion, and I think that's the main difference. And the reason I really love living here is because you can just, you know, hit someone up on Instagram and say like, hey, do you want to do this shoot? This is my concept, this is my mood board, and they're like, oh, this looks cool, let's do it, and that's it. You just do it. I really like that about Tokyo, that those type of opportunities are there's a lot of them if you really just put yourself out there and network and meet people and, stay positive.
I think youth subculture is very, very strong here. When I was a teenager, I used to be a punk kid. I used to go to punk shows, hardcore gigs and everything. Like anywhere, it's full of men, always. But we do have a very strong bond of women, and I've met the best people being in those environments.
Being a woman of color affects me most when I'm working, because there's not a lot of women in the commercial media industry unless they're being models. There's not a lot more on the technical side or being cameramen, so I think that's hard. I think especially being someone who's darker skinned than what the media portrays, a lot of people think that I'm foreign and they don't really accept me as one of them, so they just think that I don't really know what I'm doing, or I might not know the proper terminology in Japanese for the same camera work. So I think people just underestimate me a lot.
I've learned to have a tougher skin than when I left America, because those little things that people do, it's not gonna make me get up and leave this country, because I know what I'm doing here. I know that I have to keep building, I have to keep creating, and I'm not gonna let anybody stop me from doing that. For me to be the person that I, really wanna be, I have to have certain experiences in certain places and be uncomfortable and not know all the answers. And I don't know all the answers here. So I think that to keep growing, I have to keep being uncomfortable.
Japan is very unlimited. There's so many possibilities here. You can do anything here. Come with everything you have.
I feel like in Japan, no one is gonna hand anything out to you. If you want something, you definitely need to go get it. More than get it, you need to really, really keep seeking and really, really keep knocking doors down until one door falls down. I think at the end of the day, what motivates me to stay in Japan is it being the place I was born. This is who I am, and I can't run away from that. The only thing I can do is accept that. It's as much as a part of me as my race is. There's hardly even conversations about women, let alone women of color. So I feel there's so much more conversations that could happen in Japan that just aren't happening right now. Definitely something I want to do is work on stories about women of color, about people of color, and keep pursuing stories that just haven't been tapped into or told yet.